Welcome to the Raise Your Bars podcast, where it's all about elevating your life one step at a time. With your hosts, Chris Baker and Al Rattan. Together, we're here to guide you through the transformative journey of self-improvement and success. Have you ever wondered what behaviors and actions you need to change to achieve the results and success you desire in life? Well, you're in the right place. Each episode, we dive deep into the strategies, mindset shifts, and practical steps you can take to raise your bars. From personal development to professional growth, Chris and Al share their expertise, experiences, and the occasional tough love, all designed to empower you to reach your full potential. So, whether you're looking to make a big change or simply fine-tune your path to success, grab a seat and let's raise those bars together. Now, let's welcome your hosts, Chris Baker and Al Rattan.
Well, here we are again, Chris, for another episode of the Raise Your Bars podcast. How are you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well. Al. It's good to have you back. I know you've been traveling over to Europe and back, and so
Yes, it was fantastic. Had a really great time. Got to hang out with our mentor John Maxwell for a little bit, which was amazing. And but you're right, back to Canada now, back to business here. And recording another episode of our podcast, and we're on part 2 tonight of our who knows how many part series as we sort of dive through, digest, study Bob Proctor's book, Change Your Paradigm, Change Your Life.
Yeah.
And you and I both have read it now, and now, like we said in last week's episode, now we're going back to study it to really get an understanding about it. And it's actually funny because I just started reading another book, which was next on my list. It's called Zero Limits Living by Dr. Joe Vitale. And he's talking, first couple chapters is all about paradigms and mindset. And I was like, oh, this actually, dovetails really well and reinforces what I just learned from Bob Proctor. So I'm excited to dive more into that book. But tonight we're going to talk about it's two big words put together. Unconscious competence. And Bob tells a little bit of a story in here. Maybe you want to dive into a little bit of that as we discuss this.
Yeah, I mean, Bob Proctor, he starts his story saying in 1961 he was earning $4,000 a year. Now, obviously, $4,000 a year in 1961 was more than it is now, but it was still not a significant sum of money for a year, right? And he was earning $4,000 a year, but he owed $6,000. So he owed more than he was earning. And he basically couldn't see how he was going to get out of it, right? So that was his paradigm at that time. That was his reality. All right. And I know we just go off the book a minute, because I was just thinking of something, as you said, back to Canada, and it sort of, I don't know if it was on the tip of your tongue, but what most people would say is, oh, back to reality, right?
Yeah.
And that again is what people feel, right? They've been off doing something, whether it's they've been on vacation, they've been on a trip and a conference like you did, or whatever it is, and then they come back and go, oh, now I'm back to reality, as if like everything that they've experienced and enjoyed has gone, and now they're back to that sort of mundane, right? And this is what made me think. I was thinking of that as you said it, and thinking about this because, in Bob Proctor's mind, what he was earning was what he was worth, right? And that was it. However, 5 years later, he was earning over $1 million a year. Right? He owned a company with branches in Toronto, Montreal, Boston, Cleveland, Atlanta, and London. So how did he do that? Right? How did he go from one paradigm, one reality, 5 years later to a completely different one? And he says he was being irresponsible. He was living a bit of a playboy lifestyle. And then he stopped one day and asked, how did this happen? Right? Why did my life change so dramatically? And I think they are two very valid questions, right?
Yeah. And I think everybody hopefully would have that aha moment in their life saying, why, what, where, how, ask themselves those types of questions. I know you and I probably both did. When we joined Maxwell Leadership. B, we did that Think and Grow Rich deep dive study together, and I think that study there got
Yeah.
us sort of on that path of thinking how and why and what and where we're going to go. And I know it changed my life. Would it change my life dramatically? Probably not yet, but I think we're working down the road to some dramatic changes in both of our lives as we get older, right? And as we
Yeah.
build our business.
I'd say, and I've been honest, I've shared about it before. I wrote, my book, 10 Steps to Freedom, that I wrote really for no other reason than to get it out of my head, right? Was really that sort of awareness and that awakening, because I had that drastic change. It wasn't as drastic as Bob Proctor's here, going from 4,000 a year to be a millionaire, but it not in financial terms, but in a lot of other ways. I had a drastic change in my life, and it happened really, as you say, from joining the Maxwell team, doing the Think and Grow Rich study. It really started just before that, when I stumbled across Simon Sinek's Golden Circle, and that's
Right.
really what started it. And then Find You Why, and I was working on that, and then that led me eventually to Maxwell, to doing the Think and Grow Rich, to getting certified in DISC, and really that studying, right, studying personal growth,
Yeah.
and I hadn't done that ever, right? I hadn't read a book really, other than a novel when I was on the beach or by the pool, since I'd left school, right? And that was
It's just the story of a lot of people's lives, to be
right.
honest.
That was over 30 years prior, so more, 35 years prior. So I didn't have as maybe as a drastic in terms of financial as Bob Proctor did, but I did have that aha moment, and start looking at it and asking these questions again. How did this happen? Why did it change? And at the time, I didn't know why. And that's why I wrote my book, was basically to get that out of my head and discover for myself. Right. The fact it sold a few copies is, and it has impacted a few people. I know a few people that have told me that it's impacted their life. I know you got it there too. But I did it because
I have like an autographed copy.
you do.
I'm special.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I did it to help me, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because again, you can't help others until you help yourself, right? Mark Cole says you can't give what you don't have,
Right.
right? And John says that as well. And I think with Bob Proctor here, he started looking back and saying, what was his paradigm previously? Otherwise, what had been conditioned into his subconscious mind that he believed was reality, right?
Mhm.
And he says that he'd been raised to believe that if you're going to earn a lot of money, you've got to be really smart. We've all probably heard the same thing, right? And he says, I knew I
Yeah.
wasn't very smart, but I was earning a lot of money. Then I'd also been raised to believe that if you don't go to school, you'll never get a good job, right? I left school at 17. Right? I didn't go to university, but I had good jobs as over the years. And he said he went to high school for 2 months. Now we know that there's a lot of famous people, right, that didn't really go to school, like
Right.
Henry Ford, Thomas Edison, all these
Yeah.
people that we've heard in the past. Yet they went on to do great things. Now he says he didn't have a good job, but he owned the whole company, right?
Yeah.
So
Exactly.
so so when you look at it, everything that we're raised to believe, or almost everything that we're raised to believe, um, a lot of it isn't true.
Yeah, absolutely. We've been told a lot of lies, and we've also told ourselves a lot of lies over the years, right? I
Right.
know I was talking to somebody today, sorry, yesterday for lunch. I went out with a friend, and I was talking. My problem is sometimes, and folks, I'm going to be transparent here with you. My problems is sometimes is I don't believe that I actually deserve to be a millionaire. I don't
Right.
believe that I'm smart enough to earn $1 million.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I didn't quit high school. I graduated from high school a long time ago, grade 12, and that was it. And I've earned for over a decade here, I've earned over a six-figure income, right? So
Mhm.
again, not not knocking the school systems, everybody, but
Yeah.
again, in schools, you're programmed to consume knowledge so you can regurgitate it and pass the
Right.
test. And that's really it.
Yeah. And things that you're probably never gonna use, right?
Lots of cases, no.
Yeah.
I'm grateful I can read and write because of school.
Absolutely.
But I've never used trigonometry again.
No. No. Well,
Anyways,
and Bob Proctor again, he goes on to talk about or ask a question. He says, "Can one person be better than someone else?" And the answer is no.
no.
Right?
Mm.
No one is better than anyone else. Right? And I know you and I had both highlighted this, right? Which is why we wanted to talk about
Yes.
it. But
Yes.
now one person's results may be a little better than somebody else. They may earn a little bit more. They may be more productive. They may be able to run faster. But at the core of it, we're all exactly the same.
We are all exactly the same, and we all have the same opportunities. And again, we cannot we cannot use I just like I cannot use the I'm not smart enough excuse, because obviously I've had a certain level of success in my life. I cannot use that I was born into a poor family, because I was. We were a single parent family when I was growing up, very poor on social assistance, lived in government housing, right? That obviously affected me somewhat in my belief systems, because I still struggle with some things when it comes to wealth.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, that does not define me. I can choose to be different. Was I fortunate that I was born in Canada? Yes, I believe so. I think that's a blessing, that born in a country like Canada. But we all have choices to make, and we can all dig ourselves out of the hole that necessarily we're in. We can't say life dealt us this. Maybe we had some bad things happen to us, but at the same time, we have choices to move beyond that and out of
Mm-hmm.
that, which is kind of ironic. I just had somebody message me that I'm connected on Facebook with, saying, "Hey, I'm going through a tough time." And I'm like, I wonder if you could help out in any way. I said, "Are you asking me for money?" And I mean, like, I'm ask my wife, I'm probably one of the most generous people that I love to be generous. I love to give. I love to give. But
Mm.
I'm like, no, you're a business owner. Go sell a product or a
Right.
service. You know what to do, and earn your
Yeah.
money. I have to earn my money, and I don't know this person. We're connected on Facebook. That's the extent of the knowledge.
Mm-hmm.
So no, I'm sorry, I'm
Yeah.
not giving you money. Go earn some money. You know what to do.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Well, and that's basically what Bob's saying here, right? Is because it's if you don't change your paradigm, if you live in that same thought process, that same mindset, that's with that same mentality, guess what? You're going to get what you've always got, right? And if you have that choice, like you said, and we've all got choices, we can choose to stay where we are, or we can choose to make a difference.
Yeah, and
And don't
sometimes
get
you're
me
gonna
wrong,
have to fight like hell to make the difference,
yeah,
right? Sometimes you're gonna have
yeah,
to fight
mhm,
and sacrifice and lose sleep to dig yourself out of whatever mess you may be in this moment, but the
yeah,
thing is if you persist, you will succeed.
correct. And again, you got to believe in what you want, what you're aiming for, right?
Yeah,
And that comes back to the desire in Think and Grow Rich, right? If it isn't that white hot burning desire, you're going to make excuses, right? You're
absolutely.
not going to do it. It's easy to do that. But Bob says that we're all mass, energy, and vibration, right? And that's true. Now I know that's maybe far fetched for some people to believe, but scientifically it's true, all right? And so, do you want to believe it? And do you want to make a difference in your life? And if you're happy where you are, then that's great. You're probably not listening to this podcast if you are, right?
Right.
But if you and we're not saying that everybody should stretch and push and want to be a millionaire. That's not what we're saying at all.
No.
But if you
Be the
do,
best version of you can be.
exactly, right?
Be the best version
Exactly.
of you can be, so you can positively impact yourself, your family, your children, your community in some way. And that doesn't mean you have to be a multimillionaire. I don't know if I'll ever be a multimillionaire.
Well,
Eh, That's fine. I want to have a comfortable life and be able to travel the world with my best friend Chris,
yeah,
and enjoy life, so we can, Vicky and Chris and Marge and I can sit on the beaches of the world and continue to serve our clients well, and
right.
continue to grow and invest in ourselves. Um, that doesn't mean I need
I think on a deeper level, we just want to impact other people's lives in a positive way, right? We want to help, as you said, we want to help people to be the best version of themselves, whatever that is, whatever level that is, right? And here's the thing, and again, we're going off on a tangent again now, but I'm studying Simon Sinek's book with a group now called The Infinite Game, right?
Right.
And basically, we can't all be winners, right? In a race, in a game, or whatever, there's only one winner.
Exactly.
But we're not chasing a finite goal, all right? We're chasing an infinite purpose. And our infinite purpose is to make a difference to people, to impact lives, to help people to grow and develop and realize their dreams, to find that passion and purpose to keep moving and to keep growing. And really, Bob Proctor again is a prime example of this, right? Because he when he realized that he didn't know what had changed in his life, he started to study it, and he started to question it. And it said it took him 9.5 years of conscious and deliberate focus, right?
Yeah.
That's the key thing to me there: conscious and deliberate focus, right, to figure out the answer.
And I think the thing is, most of us would not dedicate 9.5 years of our life to that.
Probably most of us wouldn't dedicate 9.5 minutes, Al, if we're honest with it, right? Of conscious, deliberate focus,
Right.
right? And again, it's just the reality, right? But it doesn't mean that it has to be the future.
No. And
Right?
I think this segues into the sort of the next topic in this book. So we go from unconscious competence to actually developing awareness.
Yeah.
Right? Developing awareness of where we're actually at and where we want to go, and then what are the steps I need to take to get there. He says awareness is key. And and listen to this. We have to start by understanding that there's only one part of the universe that we can change, and that is ourselves. We can
Yes.
change nothing else. We can only change ourselves. So what behaviors and actions do you need to change in order to get the results and the success you want in your life? Because you can't change anything else in this world except you,
Right.
your attitude, your behaviors, your actions, your resolve to push forward and achieve that level of success that you desire to achieve.
Right. Yeah. I mean, you can impact other things, right? Which is what we're talking about, but we can't control other things, right? The only thing we can control 100% of the time, as you say, is our attitude, right? Is how we get at how we approach everything. And that is really, again, as you say, Al, quite rightly, is the bars method, right? Is our behaviors and our actions will directly contribute and result or bring about our results and success.
Right.
Right. If we've got good behaviors and actions, right. And again, that could be attitude, but good behaviors and actions, we will get good results and good success.
Yep.
It doesn't mean that we stop there, because we keep improving. And as we keep improving and modifying and honing our behaviors and actions to aim for that higher purpose that we're aiming for, guess what? Our results and our success will continue to increase too.
And then we go on to what John talks about, being significance, making a significant difference in others' lives. And that's really where Chris and I ultimately go. Yes, we're business owners. We want to make money. That's the idea. Any business wants to turn a profit, right? But at the end of the day, too, making that significant difference in our clients' lives, to us, it brings immense satisfaction.
Yeah. And clients, yes, but anybody that's listening as well, right? Anybody that follows us on social media, anybody that we meet. And here's the thing about this as well, Al, right? Is that we can all make excuses, right, as to why we're not getting where we are. And the truth is, if we don't take control of our own destiny, somebody else will.
Yeah.
And they don't necessarily have your best interests at heart. So do you want to let somebody else control your destiny, and then you like live in regret, or bemoan your bad luck or whatever it is?
Right.
Or do you want to take control and move forward to a position that you choose to be in?
Mhm.
All right. It really is that simple. It doesn't mean it's easy.
No, it's going to take effort. It's going to take work, maybe
Well,
some blood, sweat, and tears.
conscious, dedicated focus.
Exactly.
Right.
So let me sort of wrap up with this one line, Chris, and then maybe you can throw a challenge out to our folks. But he says, Bob says, we're bigger than the external situations that we're facing.
Yep.
You have it within you to overcome.
Uh-huh.
You just need to make the decision to overcome.
You do.
And then put in the
And
work.
I was going to say, making a decision is one thing, right? Taking action is the next thing. So here is the challenge. And again, folks, us by now, we don't pre-plan these, right? We just get to the end and then we think, oh gosh, what can we set as a challenge? And I want you to look at it and say, who's controlling your life?
Yeah.
Who or what, right, is controlling your life? And are you comfortable with putting your life in their hands? Or do you want to do something about it? And do you want to take control of it yourself? That's really the question, right?
Yep.
And then if you do, then reach out to us, right? Contact us on social media, chat to us. We're happy to chat to you and just encourage you. That's what we want to do, right? It's what
Absolutely.
makes our lives meaningful. Right? Gives us
Absolutely.
purpose.
And we'll throw out there, if you're a small to medium-sized business owner looking to grow your company culture, your team engagement, your bottom line profits, then the BARS method
Develop your
program,
leaders,
develop your
develop
leaders.
future leaders.
Yep.
Yeah.
The BARS method is for you. So you want to reach out to us for that. Oh, so just a little side note as we wrap up here and we'll leave on this. So $4,000 in 1961 is $48,000 in today money. And $1 million. So when Bob was making $1 million in the 60s there, $1 million in the 60s is now 10.2 million in today's dollars with inflation and adjustments. So there you go.
There you go. And it's again, it's not all about money.
Nope.
Right. It's about that giving you that fulfillment, right? Living a meaningful, purposeful life. Making it though, and Al and I were talking, we're not going to get into it, but that when you get up in the morning, that you get up and you're like energized and looking forward to the day.
Exactly.
All right.
Or are you
That's
getting
what
up
we want for
regretting the
you.
day? If you are, you need to do some mindset adjustments.
Yeah.
All right. That's
Good
a different
stuff.
topic for a different day.
Indeed.
Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Have an amazing day.
Bye.
Thank you for tuning in to the Raise Your Bars podcast. If you found value in today's episode, please consider sharing it with your family, friends, and coworkers. We would sincerely appreciate it.